Government mind control. You might think that every move you're making is your own will, but some conspiracy theories and cults legitimately believe that we are part of an entire mind control experiment conducted by the government through chemicals and everyday gadgets. The theory suggests that scientists have been secretly working with the government to find ways to control our minds, literally. Whether it's by implanting chips into our brains or putting fluoride in our water, we are essentially puppets on a string, dancing to whatever tune the government is playing. The MKUltra project conducted by the CIA fueled suspicions of mind control conspiracies because the CIA did all sorts of messed up things to control people's minds. So if the CIA had been doing that for years, we can't say for certain that you're only watching this video because the CIA influenced you to. Reptilian elite control. You've probably seen Mark Zuckerberg wearing his emotionless poker face in congressional hearings and other public appearances. Well, it could be because he might not be human at all. Some people think he's part of an ancient reptilian race disguised as humans to live among us. The wild cult conspiracy theory is that there are reptilian humanoids living among us for thousands of years. Some think they're ancient beings on Earth longer than humans, while others believe they are aliens. Either way, they're said to be smarter and stronger than us mere humans. Now, there are stories about people witnessing supposed reptilian people shedding their human form and revealing their scaly appearances. Who knows? Your school principal or your boss could be one of them. Meanwhile, ancient texts and artwork depict these lizard people, fueling the theory that they've been around for as long as time itself. But instead of revealing themselves, they've been lurking in the shadows as a cult and controlling every world event to their benefit. Alien hybridization program. There have been stories about aliens hanging out on Earth with us humans for thousands of years. Some people who are into these theories suggest that ancient texts are proof of this, but it's not just about aliens trying to blend with us while hiding in plain sight. Instead, there's this entire idea that a secret group has been pulling the strings to make half-human, half-alien babies. It's not like an alien Romeo has fallen for a human Juliet and started creating crossbred babies. It's more like they're teaming up behind the curtains to make hybrids who run every major part of the world, including politics, business, and entertainment. So if you've heard Kanye spouting some crazy stuff, you'd probably think he's one of these alien human products. The entire theory has no evidence to back it up at all, but some people swear it's been happening right under our noses for centuries. So if you remember the whole Storm Area 51 frenzy a few years back, you'd be shocked to know that some people were serious about possibly finding an alien human breeding program down there. Hollow Earth theory. You were taught in 5th grade that the Earth is a solid ball that houses us on its surface. However, some theories point to the possibility of a world within our world because the Earth could actually be hollow. They think that there's an entirely different version of the planet inside. Think of it as a secret snow globe within our planet. There's supposed to be a hidden world, complete with its civilization, like a secret underground club that can only be accessed through secret entrances in the North and South Poles. But it's said that going through these entrances isn't easy because it's being guarded by all sorts of gatekeepers, such as secret societies, aliens, and maybe even Godzilla. The point is that a group knows about these entrances to this underground world, but has kept it hidden from the public. But this idea isn't exactly new because ancient cultures, like the Greeks and Vikings, used to talk about these underground realms. There's even talk that the legendary city of Atlantis has always been chilling down there. Mass surveillance. You might want to steer clear of those cheap Huawei phones because they could be secret listening devices used by the communists to keep tabs on everyone around the world. Instead, go for an iPhone. Sure, you know you're still being watched, but at least it's by the good old USA instead of China. There's this entire idea that the government has been teaming up with shady groups to watch and monitor our every move through cameras and mics hiding in plain sight. With the tech we have nowadays, it's not a crazy thought at all. We know that the government wants to keep an eye on possible terrorist attacks and threats to national security, but the cult conspiracy theory takes it to another level by believing that regular people are constantly being watched, even when we're sleeping or showering. As you watch this video, the FBI agent assigned to keep tabs on you knows you've finally realized you're being watched. There may be no evidence, but we are not saying it's not happening. We're all carrying handy listening devices in the form of our smartphones. If your smartphone algorithms, like Alexa or Siri, are listening in, you can bet your house that the government's in on it too. End times prophecies. It's interesting how many groups out there get obsessed with the end of times, especially when their leaders supposedly predicted the world's big finale. These cult conspiracy theories often rely on ancient predictions. On the other hand, most of them relied on the old reliable LSD to get visions of the end of times. But some people look at natural disasters, wars, and political turmoil, saying, "Yup, the end is near." The wilder part is that some cultists are convinced that there's a secret group pulling the strings behind the scenes, setting the stage for the apocalypse. That's why you have all of these doomsday cults hoarding supplies, constructing entire bunkers, and packing weapons like there's no tomorrow. Meanwhile, their leaders manipulate people into thinking that their visions are true, and that the end is upon them. If you remember the Manson family, you'd remember how Charles Manson manipulated his members into murdering with his helter-skelter doomsday scenario. Project Blue Beam. When a world crisis occurs, it tends to be easier for people to come together in panic. It's like they're sheep, ready to be herded by the government. That's precisely what cult conspiracy theorists believe Project Blue Beam is all about. The government supposedly has this advanced tech that can slap holograms of stuff like aliens and religious figures up in the sky. From there, they used advanced audio devices and cranked the volume to make it sound like these beings were talking to us. When E.T. or Jesus is up in the sky talking to people, things can happen in this scenario. First, people will fear these images and interpret them as the coming of an alien invasion or an apocalypse. The second is that people will be more united. Whichever of the two happens, the government will have an easier time controlling people through this blockbuster hoax. The feds will suddenly swoop in and run the show, controlling people behind the shadows by using their paranoia against them. But before looking out your window for holographic aliens in the sky, remember this is just a theory. There is no evidence, and it would be very difficult and expensive for the government to develop technology that can beam aliens and gods into the sky. You are more likely to stumble into a unicorn in your backyard than find proof of Project Blue Beam. Rothchild banking conspiracy. They say that Jews tend to be a bit too stingy when it comes to money, while a lot of the stereotypes about Jews and money can be traced to the Rothschild family, a Jewish clan supposedly controlling the banking industry for hundreds of years. The Rothschilds were powerful people rolling in dough while pulling strings behind every major European event centuries ago. For example, it's rumored that the Rothschilds conspired to spread rumors about Napoleon's victory during the Battle of Waterloo. These OG insider traders used carrier pigeons to spread messages that Napoleon had won the battle, forcing chaos in the stock market. So when stocks started plummeting to earth, the Rothschilds bought all of them dirt cheap. But when the truth came out that Napoleon lost, stock prices shot up, allowing the Rothschilds to emerge from the chaos with the money bags. The rumors don't stop there. Some say that the Rothschilds have been the puppet masters behind powerful governments and large banks, all in pursuit of putting more gold in their vaults. They're Scrooge McDuck swimming in a vast pool of gold, supposedly controlling the global economy while hiding behind different names and identities. Crisis actors. Big disasters and tragic events like mass shootings and terrorist attacks flip through the news regularly. But there's a theory among cults that these incidents were not exactly real, but were carefully staged by the government with the help of what they call crisis actors. Crisis actors are probably the same guys who went to drama school thinking they could make it big in Hollywood, but ended up flipping burgers in your local fast food joint. But they're on the government speed dial because they get hired for a few gigs here and there to play various roles during a crisis. According to conspiracy theories, the grieving relatives or eyewitnesses you see on television are all actors. But the government supposedly does this to make tragic events seem real and totally not staged by the feds. When someone sheds a tear on live television in front of a national audience, the tragedy seems so much more legit. That lady sobbing over her lost husband in a shooting, well, she's just an actress flexing her drama school skills, hoping she could get into a movie. Mandela effect theory. If you've ever remembered something happening only to find out that it never happened, that's the Mandela effect. It's a term coined in 2010 when people legitimately had memories of Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s, when in reality, he was still alive and only died in 2013. The Mandela effect occurs because of misconceptions about real-life events and people not listening to the 6 o'clock news every night. But cult conspiracies think that something weirder is going on, and it could be evidence of alternate dimensions. According to this theory, some people have false memories because these memories come from a different alternate reality where those memories were legit. For example, some people may have thought that Nelson Mandela did indeed die in the 80s because their memories come from an alternate reality where he actually died. In short, the theory believes that parallel universes collide, mixing false and genuine memories. Think of it like this. You're watching TV, and a bunch of TV stations get their signals crossed with one another, allowing your TV to pick up snippets from each station. That's possibly what would happen if your memories from a different dimension mix up with the events of this current reality. Secret cancer cure. There's nothing more profitable than people fighting for their lives, because people are willing to pay anything to live. The government knows this, and that's why there's a cult conspiracy theory that says that the feds have been keeping the cure for cancer the entire time. Cancer's a pain in the ass because we've lost a lot of people to it. On top of that, it's painfully expensive to get treatments for cancers, but while we've seen the best doctors and medical professionals work tirelessly to help people beat cancer, you know that there are other people out there thinking that the government has been working with hospitals to gatekeep the actual cure to this disease. The theory is that the government wants to milk cancer as much as they can because they know that people are willing to pay for expensive treatments to kick this disease in the butt. So if the cure to cancer ever came out, it's like the government would be flushing money down the drain because a cure would be so much more affordable compared to countless treatments. One reason some people think this theory could be true is that there have been a few promising cancer research projects that haven't seen the light of day. Cancer, of course, is a complex disease that would require more than just a pop of a pill to cure, so it will take time and a lot of money to find a true cure eventually.